Well, good evening. Good evening. It's 2024, January 3rd, 2024. And here we are, all excited about having another episode of Advancing the Cause. We've got lots and lots of things to talk about tonight. As a matter of fact, let me say to you that we missed, 2 weeks we missed? And I'm sure you enjoyed the songs, the Christmas carols and so on we played for you that week, and that was to set you in the Christmas mode. But I know you weren't quite excited because 6.5 ain't cutting it at all. That ain't cutting it at all. If you check the price for the cost for cow heel and cow face and all of that, you would know. And so a teacher was telling me today 6.5, and some teachers crying because they ain't got no money to return to work on January 8th. And I know other workers are in the similar position. But you know what? This is the year of 2024. I want to do like I want to repeat like some of my friends have been repeating. 2024. I want to declare and decree that this is your year of fulfillment. This is your year of happiness. And like some folks say, this is a weak time. So 2024 is our time. And we are going to ensure that Guyanese people benefit from the proceeds, from the minerals, from the wealth, from everything that we have here right in Guyana. We're going to benefit from them. You know what? And of course, I want to ask you to just share the live. We got lots of things to talk about tonight. Big people we're talking to tonight. Share the live. Call up your friends, call up your neighbors, call everybody, just about everybody. Let them know Advancing the Cause is on. Tell them Advancing the Cause is on. And we are going to be sharing here live with our friends and everybody else. So just call them up. Chevron McDonald, good night to you. Good night to Roderick Harry. Good night to Anthony Jarvis, Sharon Griffith, everybody, Chandra Paul Mohabir, everybody, good night to you. And how you doing? Here, man, I wish we had the telephone so we could have the call in for you to share how you spent your Christmas. But it's not too late. We're going to do that next week. But you know what? Tonight, we want to talk seriously about what is happening in Guyana. We hear this talk all the time about democracy and democracy. But here what we're going to do. We're going to take 2 minutes. 2 minutes, a 2 minutes break we're going to have while I allow you to call up your friends, and then we'll get right into our program for this evening, right into our discussions. 2 minutes we're going to take. Yes, so I know for sure you did call up a couple of folks, but we need to call some other folks. We need to let them know what is happening. Hey, somebody hit a bar jack for me. Hit a bar jack. You let them know Advancing the Cause is on. Somebody else call Dharam Lal. Tell him Advancing the Cause is on. Call Priya too. Somebody call Priya because I recognize that we have lots of issues and we're going to share these issues. But let me go straight into our highlights for this evening. We have the deadly all night All Year's Night shooting. We're looking for a 19-year-old, and he was the person who shot 29-year-old Anthony Haynes. So the police are on the look for him. There's a wanted bulletin out for him. And, you know, I keep saying crime doesn't pay. Hostility and arrogance, it doesn't pay. And so we've got to be a little more conscious about the things we do. We've got to be a little more responsible, according to VP Jagdu. You've got to be a little more responsible. But we can talk about being responsible just now. You know what? We have a young man who is gracing social media, the pages of social media, and he is complaining about what is happening there with BM Sot. BM Sot, your name calling again. And, you know, I don't know how come you people, you've fallen into these traps, you know. 20-something years ago, my brother had his experience with BM Sot. And this is a continuous something. We all need to boycott these businesses. When he's selling, seizing somebody's car, spraying it over, and then selling it to somebody else, he's seizing your car, then you got to pay 2 times the amount to receive your car again. All kinds of craziness. But you know, these things are happening because of the system we have here, where the small man doesn't get justice. Could you imagine a young man paying $1.7 million, and now you're going to tell the young man, according to the young man, that you're going to refund him $300,000 somewhere there? That has to be madness. It has got to be crazy. Y'all need to boycott these businesses. They got a few more, some that selling people vehicles, 2010 vehicles, and they tell you it's 2016 vehicle, or they tell you it's 2016 vehicle, and there's a 2010 vehicle you get in. We got to expose these people. And let me say to the management of BM Sot, you have a right to get on social media to refute what is being said if it's not true. You have a right to do that. But come on, people working hard for their monies, don't scamp and con people. Stop the nonsense. And then fires and more fires. You know, every time the PPP is there, every single time we got the PPP around, is fires and fires and fires. So we have a 43-year-old young man there who has lost his life in Port Morat there. He was sleeping, I guess, and he was burnt to death. Again, we've got to be a little more responsible. Make sure you turn off the stove. Make sure you plug out those plugs, those electrical plugs when you're not using them. Take them off. Take them off. And you know, because of what is happening in our system, in the society today, our homes are all well grilled up. So just in case there's a fire and something happened, you get all confused. You don't know where to run to. You don't know what to do. It's sad. And so we want to send out our condolences to the families, the family members of that young man. I learned that he's a teacher at a private school. And so here it is, students are losing a teacher. I'm sure this could have been avoided. But when the system doesn't work for citizens, these are the things that happens. Citizens have to suffer. And then we have a 15-year-old young lady, Elizabeth Mackenzie, who's been missing since Christmas Eve Day. Elizabeth, your parents are worried about you. Your grandmother is worried about you. They love you. They just want you to return home. Anybody knowing or seeing Elizabeth or know the whereabouts of Elizabeth, could you contact her parents on telephone numbers 597-878-4193? Elizabeth, we want you to return home. Whatever the issue or issues are, return home and we're going to resolve them. We want you to get back home safely. And so we have the One Guyana story, yeah? We're hearing all these things about the One Guyana story. You got One Guyana, but yet I learned that Priya Manik Chand was somewhere distributing hampers only to Venezuelan citizens, to their children. But I'm going to get some clippings for that. I'm just putting it out there that it has been alleged that Priya Manik Chand has been distributing hampers to only Venezuelan citizens, children of Venezuelan citizens. It can't be One Guyana. If you're a Venezuelan citizen or you are a parent, a Guyanese parent, and you have children who you brought from Venezuela, why you only give it to them? Give to everybody. If you can distribute hampers, distribute to everybody. So Priya, come on. fix that business there. We still have that issue with CPC to talk about, but we'll talk about that another time. And of course, you know, the conspiracy case against retired Assistant Commissioner of Police Paul Slow and all of those other police officers, retired and active officers, it has been dismissed for the lack of evidence. I don't know, you know, the PPP always feel that they can drag people through the mud and embarrass people. And then they end up embarrassing them their own selves. Come on, y'all fix the business. If you don't have anything to do, sit there and try to put systems in place to make the lives of citizens better. You drag Paul Slow and Conway and a whole set of them through the court system for how long? And then, the case has been dismissed. Nonsense. It shows how vindictive and weak you are. You know that you got to the stage now you can't take criticism. You don't want quality work. You always look for quantity. Quality matter to you. So $10 million, Paul Slow and 15 or how many of them defrauded the state $10 million, while we got contractors who defrauded the state hundreds of millions of dollars and nobody going after them. But that case has been dismissed. Well, I must tell you that our PNC girl, Sonia Parag. Yes, Sonia Parag is our PNC girl. Y'all didn't know that? Sonia Parag was her father was a very staunch PNC supporter. As a matter of fact, Sonia and her parents, I'm being told that they lived right in this compound, in Sophia there by Congress Place. They lived right there. So, you know, it's just that she wandered away from home, but she'll come back home very soon. So Sonia has now been moved to the Ministry of Local Government and Regional Development, wherever the big name is for that ministry. And, you know, she has gone there to replace the disgraced alleged rapist, Nigel Dharamlal, who those allegations were made against him. And he said, he offered to submit his resignation, but he has been kicked out. And so Sonia is now there replacing him. Well, I don't know if it's because Anand Prasad can't handle the business there, that they've put Sonia there, or if Sonia was placed there to add to more corruption and more we can have more road projects. And so there have been quite a lot of issues surrounding Sonia recently. You know, we had some young people who were caught with illegal drugs, and then we had a whole thing there with the Vera boy, and we learned that Sonia called and asked that the Commissioner of Police acting. I know how true it is, but it was blank. It was all there on social media. But these are the things that we see ever so often. So, Sonia, I hope you can handle the portfolio that has been handed to you now. I hope you're capable of handling it. I don't know if you were sent there to be embarrassed, but you have to know. And I want to wish you well. We have my counterpart, Ganesh Maipal, who will be your partner, you know, your opposite partner. And I'm hoping that you will be a little more decent and you can answer those questions properly for the benefit of our nation. But then as we go on, we got our own, plenty of our people, you know, quite a lot of them. We got our own Dr. Van West Charles, you know, Dr. Van West Charles, he has been appointed ambassador, Ghana's ambassador to Venezuela, and I learned that he's going to be taking up his position in Venezuela come the 15th of January. Well, I know that Maduro going on with this British warship that is down here and so on. I know how the cake will mix with the two of them. But Dr. Van West Charles, we want to wish you well, and we trust that you're going to indeed represent. And while we're talking about Venezuela, we just saw this whole picture there. And this is what I've been talking about. Ralph Gonzalez there. I don't know. I don't know what happened to him. But here is it. Ralph Gonzalez is receiving a plaque. And this plaque has the Venezuela map. And that the inclusion of that part of Essequibo. I mean, Ralph didn't see this thing. Ralph didn't see that thing there. Come on, Ralph. We expect better than this from you. Hi. You told the Honorable President the other day, Granger, to take his licks like a man. You got to take some good lashes, not like a man, because you're behaving like a boy right now. You must check to see what people are giving to you before you stand up and pose with it. You can't invite the president of Guyana to sign the Argyle document, peace treaty, and here you are posing with a Venezuela flag with that piece of Essequibo included in it. We already doing it all. Huh? That is why, you know, we don't trust this whole arrangement with some of you who are part of it, you know. Ralph Gonzalez, you better fix that business, because I'll repeat again, we're not going to welcome you here, you know. Fix that business. If you have to return it to Venezuela, return it and ask them to take that part off. Essequibo belong to us. But, you know, I don't want to take up too much of our time. Regional Health Office in Essequibo, your name calling. Your name calling. Stop taking monies for contracts. Your name calling. This is it too early, man. Y'all too corrupt. It's too early for your name to be calling like this. Lord, it's only the third day. But you know what? They always say, well, you notice my dress? The thing there, yeah. They say a leopard can't change its color, the stripes or whatever it is. So some of them not change. They can't change at all. Can't jump their hand. I got a friend who would say, jump their hand. So they can't keep it clean at all. They can't keep it clean. But I know lots of things are happening, but here we can talk about this. Let's talk about this business that we really want to talk about. This business about this social media influencers. I don't know if it's a virus. I don't know what's this thing, but I noticed Barra Jagio is all uptight about this social media influencer. Is it a virus? What was it? But I know I have we're gonna have two guests on our program. I have one already in, and we're gonna talk a little more about this social media influencers that causing some virus to attack the PPP, and the PPP really didn't like it. But let's bring on right away. We have a young man who's gonna grace the stage here with us this evening. I know he's no stranger to programs like these, but he's gonna tell us who he is and what his role is, where he is, and I don't know if he's a part of the flu or if he's a virus. I don't know, but let's bring him on. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome my guest, Mr. Rickford Burke. Mr. Burke, Happy New Year to you, my dear.
Happy New Year to you. I can assure you that I'm not the virus. I think Barra Jack, there might be a virus on the nation.
Well,
that's the virus.
We know
parasite.
that. We know that one for sure. But I'm hearing this thing about social media influencers. And I don't know what is it about Rickford Burke. But Rickford, you've got to tell us about you, because I noticed you've got the PPP, the scale always unbalanced every time Rickford Burke, something with Rickford Burke popping up. And they're after Burke. When it's not Rickford, when they can't catch Rickford Burke, they're tackling his nephew, some other cousin. What is it about Rickford Burke and the Burkes that is really frightening to Barra Jagdio and the PPP, the entire PPP? I mean, one man, I don't understand. Tell me.
Well, Rickford Burke has a lot of influence, apparently. And so they decided after the Washington conference that, well, if Rickford Burke can get members of Congress to listen to the opposition and listen to, members of the diaspora who, we have to stop these Black people. This is all about racism. This is about East Indian, PPP East Indian superiority. And like I've always said, they're perfectly good, loyal, decent East Indian people that we embrace that do not support PPP racism. We're not talking about those people. We're talking about hardcore racists in the PPP who want to govern Guyana like an apartheid state. And so since we came back from Washington, the conference at Barra Jack, this was a big failure. He's been talking about the conference. And if you notice, there's kind of been some consequences as a result of the conference. And so Barra Jack there was decided that, listen, I'm going to throw the gauntlet, and I want the nation to know I'm going to throw back I'm throwing the gauntlet back at him, because I'm not scared of Barra Jack there. They killed 1,400 young Black men and they got away with it. They killed Courtney Camuing and they got away with it. They killed Ronald Waddle, who criticized them, and they got away with it. They're not going to be able to kill me and get away with it. They have been sending people here to spy on me, trying to hire hitmen to kill me. And that's a fact. It's on the investigation. I don't want to talk about it. But they think that they can get rid of me and silence me. Now, they're trying to use the judicial system. They wrote the United States government and asked the government to arrest me and send me back to Guyana, right? Because they think that if I go back to Guyana, they can kill me. U.S. government says, we're not violating anybody's constitutional rights. So what they do now, what they've done now is gone into court. They think that they can sit in Guyana and charge people in America for exercising their constitutional right to free speech. They have arrogated onto themselves the right to police speech in the world. And Barrett Jagdeo sat down and in this lofty room like Vladimir Putin and pronounced that if you think that you are safe abroad and your speech is going to escape the laws of Guyana, well, I dare him. I dare him today, the 3rd of January, to send his Gestapo police squads to America to charge and serve people with notice. I mean, they got away with it with me because of my Sabbath. And they came to my house with guns, and I'm gonna get back to that, to try to intimidate me and threaten me, and think that because they got away with it, they think they got away with it. And Barrett Jagdeo pronounced that it was lawful. And then the Attorney General pronounced. Well, I'm now seeing an elected official in New York using those words. An elected official in New York has written to the Justice Department, a local state elected official, calling on the Justice Department to charge Barrett Jagdeo as well as Anil Nanalal and the police officer and the private citizen that came to my house for conspiracy to commit espionage. And so we will see the consequences of it. And so Barrett Jagdeo thinks it was successful. Let me tell you something. The PPP only understands certain political action, And now is the time to mobilize for political action against the PPP. The PPP has a war against Black people who speak out against injustice, who speak out against racism, who speak out against corruption. They have a war against Black people. And so they're coming after me because I have the most influence in the diaspora. I can speak to the White House, I can speak to the State Department, I can speak to members of Congress. What Barrett Jagdeo wants to do is pick a fight with a Black elected official. He wants to export his racism and contempt for Black people to America. And so PPP insiders have been telling me that Barrett Jagdeo has been saying any Black elected official that defends me, he's going to bring them down. Well, I dare him because we will destroy him. If he attempts to attack any Black elected official in America, we will mobilize the entire political world in America to destroy Barrett Jagdeo. We will make sure he ends up at the Hague in jail as a prisoner for the genocide that he committed against Black people in Guyana. And we want to warn them, just like he's warning us, you come to America, Barrett Jagdeo. If you are such a dictator and you're such a bad John, come back to New York, come back anywhere in this country, and we will deal with you. That's my message for him. And today I saw the Attorney General, they're reeling from the backlash of their outrageous espionage that they committed in New York, which, by the way, is a criminal offense. It's not treated as any service of anything. Nobody served me with anything. In New York, the police and the federal officials are treating this as a crime. My home is a crime scene, and they're continually, doing crime scene work around here. And so I heard today, Anil Nanalal, the Attorney General, saying, I'm not being charged for free exercising my speech. I extorted money. They're playing back the playbook of KKK, Jim Crow racists in America. That's what they did to Muhammad Ali and Martin Luther King and Medgar Evers and Black civil rights leaders who were fighting for freedom for black people in this country. They're using the playbook. Bull Connors, the racist police chief in Alabama, remember what he did when the blacks marched across the Edmund Pettus Bridge? He sent dogs and police officers with batons. Though that's Clifford Hicken, right? They can't use East Indians anymore to perpetrate racism. So what they have done is that they were able to bring in willing house slaves like Clifford Hickens and the others to perpetrate their racism, to try to suppress black people's speech and their demonstration of freedom of assembly in Guyana. They've successfully done that. People are scared to march, scared to protest because they're shot. Some of them were shot and killed. Now they've intimidated the black people in Guyana, and we in the diaspora, black people and opposition supporters, Indians and Americans who don't support them, and they've muzzled the people in Guyana. So the diaspora took up that responsibility of highlighting racism, injustice, and corruption. And I probably have the biggest mouth, so they're coming after me. I am enjoying the ride because I'm going after them back. And so what they've decided to do now is to attack people in the diaspora. And I don't think the United States government is going to stand for it. Every elected official in New York is aware of the espionage that is ongoing at my home. You notice the police force deliberately published my address. And since then, people are coming to my home all hours of the night, driving by my home, shouting my name. An East Indian man was caught last night. I have police outside of my house, both in police vehicles and unmarked police vehicles. An Indian man, we're going to publish his photograph when the police allows us to do it, was caught outside my home with binoculars or whatever he was, trying to record stuff or peeping at stuff. I don't know what he's looking for. Maybe his daughter wasn't here. I don't know. And then we have this morning at 3 o'clock, someone pulled up with a vehicle outside of my home, shouting threats. And we have that on record. And I noticed they're trying to do the same thing with Melly Mel. So this is what the PP is doing. They're perpetrating violence against us. They send men with guns to my house. Somebody's going to shoot somebody that they send. That as plain as that. Somebody's going to get shot. Somebody's going to get hurt when Bart Jack there, when other people in the PPP send private citizens to their homes to attack them. Something very serious is going to happen. And then they'll understand that you cannot attack people and go to people's homes. I just noticed an organization now is calling for people in the diaspora in Guyana to publish the names of PP government officials' relatives in the United States. I don't know how to respond to that, but that's what these kinds of despotic behavior invites. It's an eye for an eye. You publish Rickford Burke's home address and encourage people to attack him. Now people are calling for people to publish the home addresses of PPP officials, family members in America. Now, is that fair play? I don't know. But we see where we're going. We're going down a dangerous road, and it's all being fanned by the PPP. They're inciting racial hostility. They're dividing the country. They're going after black people. Make no mistake about it. This is a war. This is a war. This is East Indians in the PPP, racist East Indians in the PPP, attacking black people that are speaking out because they think we must not criticize their ethnocracy.
Well, Rickford, I'm listening to you. But I remember in 1992, I think it was, when the PPP won the elections there, and I don't think they won the elections there, when they said that was the return of democracy. I remember during the coalition's stint in office, and I don't know if the operator has that, but during the coalition's stint in office, we had Irfan Ali there leading a bandwagon of men who tried to, as a matter of fact, they disrupted the president, Granger, then, while he was at Pegasus, was about to deliver the feature address. They stood up with their placards and they made a whole lot of noise. Now, I think that was democracy. They were allowed freedom of speech. We had Irfan Ali and a whole side of them who attempted to overturn Minister Karen Cummins' vehicle. I think it's on screen there where they surrounded her vehicle. We had Minister Patterson. Yes, look, you're seeing the now President Irfan Ali. Look him in front of the vehicle there. Look, Charles Branson there too. You know, and these are the people who stood up against the Granger's government. And now these very people don't want you to talk about anything that they're doing. As if to say you've returned to Massa days and whatever they say must go. You shouldn't say anything. I remember we had Brian Max and a whole side of them, the guardians of democracy during the 2020, after the 2020 elections. And they were going on. They stood there. They were guarding ballot boxes. They were there to see the ballot boxes move. They were following the trucks. Barra Jagbio himself was on record saying, when they come to you, Granger and his men, when they come to you, it is going to be legal. Don't entertain them, chase them, walk behind them. And this is the very man now who is saying
Very
anybody
seditious. Very
who talks
seditious.
against the PPP government, they're going to be treated like Mr. Burke. I mean, what is these people suffering from some form of amnesia?
But Coretta, I don't know how I'm treated. They have something going on in their head. They're delusional. I'm enjoying life in America. I'm a free person. I'm a free person. I'm not a slave. I'm not a subject of the PPP. I'm not a subject of racists in the PPP who think that they can hold me hostage as a slave and hold other Black people hostage as a slave. Let me tell you something, Coretta. They have entered a very dangerous realm. And what they're doing is inciting people to react to them in a violent way when they act violently. Sending people to my home, that's an act of violence. Sending people to my home with guns is an act of violence. And they're trying to say now that they don't have guns. The Ghana police force hasn't denied it. Barjack, they've denied it, right? And then they're trying to use a video, and I'll come back to the video, to say that these guys didn't have guns. They don't know the facts. They're fishing. The police has verified everything that we reported. And I had several witnesses. There were at least 5 witnesses. And then this area is under heavy surveillance. I have 5 cameras in front of my house. I just want them to know that. Now, we are not saying what evidence the police has, and I'll let the police deal with that. But they said that the gentleman came to my house and served me with 2 summonses, which they read, and then asked me if I understood, and I said yes. The very video they put out proved them to be liars. And then this matter is under investigation by several law enforcement agencies. The Ghana Police Force put out another lie, saying that they contacted NYPD, and NYPD said there's no investigation and that there was no report, which is a complete lie. Now, that statement that he put out triggered a number of elected officials in New York to take action. And I'll leave it at that. Come back to Adam Nanalal. Nanalal said, I committed extortion. Barry Jagdev has adopted this Russian posture of attacking their dissidents as a criminal. I've never been arrested. Barry Jagdev say I'm a criminal. They say I'm a wanted fugitive. And if you notice, they're fighting me through the police because all the people that are involved in the police force, and we know who they are, Clifford Hicken, Blanham, and Caesar, all Black people. And Barry Jagdev is very skillful at that, using Blacks to attack Blacks and perpetrate his discrimination. They said I committed extortion. I can't be in New York and commit extortion in Guyana. That extortion, if I committed it, would be against the state of New York. It therefore means the police in New York will prosecute me, not Guyana. So if a white man in New Zealand had called on BNSO to stop defrauding people, they would have charged that white man in New Zealand. They exploit Black people, Coretta. They exploit Black people. And they think that they could attack me and get away with it, but we're going to teach them a lesson. We're going to teach them a lesson. Let me just finish saying what they're calling extortion. In August of 2022, several people complained to us, just like this young man today. I saw the comments. that BM Salt is defrauding them with the exact same thing. A woman told me that she bought a car from BM Salt, and then her son bought a car from BM Salt. Her son, and she guaranteed her son's car. Her son was late with one payment because he had a surgery. And he called them and said, I will miss the payment date this month, but as soon as I get out of the hospital, I will pay. They went and they seized the boy's car and his mother's car. And when they complained on social media, they called them and threatened them. Gangsters, gangsters. And the police is not doing anything because they're Estonian, and the government tell them, you can hands off BM Salt. So when we start to comment on those complaints, a businessman by the name of he's an American businessman by the name of Dorwin Bess contacted us and sent us documents showing BM Salt obtained fuel from him to the tune of $170 million and refused to pay him. Here why they refused to pay him. They heard that he owed people that they know, their friends. So they're going to take the money and give it to who he owed. Some nonsense like that, right? They are rulers of the world. And his lawyer, UC Anderson, sent them a demand letter explaining certain steps that they will take to get the money for this young man. James Bond then called me, and I have all of this on recording. James Bond called me, attorney James Bond called me and said, BM Salt owners reach out to him because they know that he and I are friends and ask him if he could have me take down the post. I said, no, let them solve the issue. Then one of the owner, Ramesh, called me and said, all on recording again, that if I can adjust my post to say anybody with problems with BM Salt should contact him and he's going to resolve it. I agreed to do that. And I said, my intention is not to hurt the company. My intention is justice. I want justice for those people that were defrauded and treated unfairly. Then he said, the department of BM Salt that owes Dorwin Bess is run by his brother, Afraz Mohammed. Then Afraz Mohammed and James Bond called me and asked me if I would ask Dorwin Bess and his attorneys to hold off on whatever action they were taking to give them time to negotiate. I did that. And then they were diddly-dallying, playing, trying to scam the people. They didn't want to pay. They didn't intend to solve it. They even went to the point of a draft agreement. And I said, you know what? I'm done. You guys are playing games. Everybody get with their attorney, sit in a room and solve it. Barrett Jack there, when Anil Danilal saw that we had made these Facebook posts and called the BM Salt and tell them, go to the police and report that we are trying to extort them. That is past black people. You have an Indian supporter of the PPP robbing a man $170 million, and the government, an East Indian government that he finances, is going to tell the police, charge the man for extortion because the Indian man don't want to pay his debt. That's what this is about. That's what this is about. And on the other side, BM Salt tried to hire 2 media workers to go on somebody's Facebook page that carried a story, a site called GNN that sometimes published my articles and op-eds. They also carried the story and told them to hack into that website and take down the story. They were probably trying to hack into my Facebook page too. They didn't get through. He offered these guys $150,000 Guyana dollars to hack into, and we have all this on the video. The police inadvertently released the video, apparently, right? And so somebody from the police force sent it to me because they had it as part of the file for this case. And you're hearing them. This week we're going to release all of this. You're hearing them saying, don't let this thing get traced back to me, try and hack into it, but don't let it get traced back to my wife's computer. All that we're hearing on the video. And they pay these guys $150,000 to hack the computer, the Facebook page and the website. They couldn't do it. And they turned around and said they extorted the money. And then they throw my name in there because, of course, the PPP want to get me. That's what they're calling extortion. I'm all the way in America. And these flatfoot hustlers and racists in the PPP think that they could sit in Guyana, charge me in America, and then tell America, oh, Rickford Burke committed this, why don't you arrest him? And now they're trying to enlist the US government in their conspiracy to try to have me killed, as if people in the US government are stupid. So that's what this is about. This is about trying to frame Rickford Burke to silence him. Coretta, I will speak out more. I'm going to go to the mountaintop and shout that Barry Jack there was a killer. I will go to the mountaintop and shout that Anna Lalal was accused of killing Courtney Cumming, and we want justice. I will go to the mountaintop and shout that they killed over 1,400 Black people, and we want justice. I will go to the mountaintop and shout that these guys are hateful and contemptuous of Black people, and we will fight them at every stage, because Guyana belongs to all of us, and we deserve equality.
You know, I'm here, and I am sure quite a lot of our viewers who are on tonight, they didn't know the whole story. And I'm happy that you were here and you were exposing this. And this is what Barrett Jagnew and the whole host of them, they're afraid of. They're afraid that we expose them. I noticed we had Melissa there just now. Operator, could you bring our other guest on? And she's no stranger. Rickford, we're going to get back to you just now. She's no stranger. And I noticed she's heating up and hotting up the place too, like the boys would say, you know. And the thing is, I don't know why the PPP government, like I've been saying, they can't deal with strong people. They just can't deal with strong people. Persons who they can't buy, they can't deal with you. So they find every means possible to try to dirty your water. The same water, they better clean the water that Sheikh Bash giving to us right now, the brown water. That's what you need to fix. Barrett Jagnew need to fix that 6.5 that they give to workers across this country. Those are the things they need to fix. They need to go fix all those streets in Alboy somewhere. They try to fool the residents there by doing the Bolivar, and all them cross streets got big holes. They need to fix that rather than running around the place and doing foolishness. They need to fix the madness that they're doing there with Maduro and what's his name, Ralph Gonzalez, posing with a map of Venezuela and the piece of Essequibo. Those are the things they need to fix rather than running behind Burke and running behind this person, that person, the other person. But we're going to talk a little more about that. Let's welcome Melissa Atwell to Advancing the Cause. Melissa, are you there?
Hey, Coretta. Good evening. I'm here. Good evening, Rickford.
Hi, yeah, my sister. Good evening.
New Year to you, man. I don't know why you're not showing your face. But the people asking, well, you know Melissa Atwell. She's popularly known as Melly Mel. And I figure she's probably one of the influencers too. So Melly, tell us about your entire episode with this guy called Barrett Jagnew who feels that he's God. I don't know what's wrong with him.
Well, for the past couple of days, everybody has been reaching out to me about this thing about, you know, Jagnew coming out of because they feel as though they attempted to serve Rickford some sham of a summons, because I don't know how, or is it you were serving a U.S. citizen a summons all the way from Guyana. I don't know who gave them the authority to do that. I don't know why they feel as though that is allowed and they can get away with doing that. Nevertheless, so he had a smirk on his face and he was talking about, he hopes the other influencers pay attention. First of all, I mean, yeah, people refer to me as a Facebook influencer. Me personally, I don't see myself as a Facebook influencer. I'm an activist. I'm very passionate about what I do. That is what I do. That's it. It's fine if you want to label me an influencer or anybody else. That's okay. But I'm just saying. So now he's coming out after other influencer. So this is the nasty game that they play. So they've been trolling. They have been the PvP propagandists and their trolls, their paid trolls. They have been trolling me for basically from the time they got into power. They have been trolling me. Mind you, I was one of those persons who was a member of another small party called TCI, who was very much during the election time saying, you know, if it is these people rightfully and did win the election, then it's the right thing for the AP and UAFC, the coalition, to do, to step aside and, let them have the way if they want it fair and square, because you don't want that stain. I was one of those people that's saying that. I'm the same person that they're now turn around and they're upset with. I was the same young lady who encouraged teachers to strike when the AP and UAFC was in power, and they felt as though that they weren't being paid what they were worth, and I was the one who encouraged them to strike. I was the one who was speaking out against the AP and against the coalition when they raised ministers and members of parliament salary by 50%, without, before raising public servant salary. I wasn't always in agreement with what the coalition did and how they went about doing what they did. So I was one of those same person that was speaking out against the coalition. But now that your party is in government, and you are now the current administration, and I'm speaking out against the wrongdoing, might I say, I've never in all the years that I've been living in Guyana and I've been a member of political parties, whatever, I've never seen this level of corruption. I've never seen this level of an attempt to silence um, activists, to silence influencers, to silence Facebook personality, whatever it is you want to call them. I've never seen this level of attempt to silence people. And for the last couple of days, I've been one of the persons that they have been attacking consistently. They paid. I know there's a program, and I can't curse and I can't exactly say and express myself how I want to. So they got these two brothers, dancing and Robinson, that used to kick and beat the one mother, kill the one mother. So if they could kill the mother, who's me? I's nobody. Cause from you could kill your own mother, Melly Mel is not nobody. So they have these two brothers attacking me. They've been attacking me constantly. And my thing is, I don't mind being trolled. And I think they realized by now that in nothing that they can do or they can say on social media, I can't be you can't troll me. I troll myself.
Mhm.
You cannot troll me on social media, and there's nothing that you or any member of your party that you can pay to say and do anything about me that is going to stop me from speaking, or it's going to stop me from doing what I do. I do what I do religiously every day. I get up, I check my inbox, I post stories, I post your corruption, I let the public know what is happening, and that is the role that I will continue to play all 2024, all 2025, leading up to the 2025 elections. Because I can tell you this, all they have been displaying to me and other influencers is that they are very much afraid of what we will reveal, and they are very much afraid of the influence that we as influencers will have on the upcoming elections,
Mhm, 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 mhm.
because we have a very, very important role to play. Myself, Rickford Burke, Rhonda Bob, I'm talking to anybody else that they're considering influencers out there. We have a very important role to play. And I think my role to play is voters education, letting the public know this is what I know, that this is 2024 and we're going into what we would call an election budget. It's not really a budget, but this is the budget where everything, this upcoming budget is where everything gonna seem nice. They're gonna promise you free education, free this, free that, all of this, because it's leading up to an election. So it's like they get like little children, then give you what they're gonna promise you 1 year a good thing for punish you for the next 4 fucking years.
Well, Melly Mel, I'm happy that you were able to address our viewers here, because the thing is, the very PPP government who was talking about the APNU government, and they knew everything that the APNU government was supposed to
Mhm.
do, but they're doing the opposite right now. And while they were talking, it was good. But if you talk now against them, it's not good.
It's
And
good. And I don't know, I don't know why Jack Joe feel as though he has the authority, he has the means of shutting up influencers. He must be talking to the influencers in Guyana, and you see what they do. And that's the thing. All they do, all Jagdio and Don Singh and Robin Singh and all, and Dharmalal, I see Dharmalal, he on the bandwagon because young and no work, young and nothing to do. You're still collecting taxpayers' money. You get fired. So now you are just a common troll. That is what that is what they have. That's what they have you as right now, a common troll. You can't go wrong. No people, nobody girl train. Can't people holding the girl train and run as soon as you come. So you can't
But
go wrong. Nobody girl train at all. You're a rapist, a certified rapist, a proven rapist. You're a rapist. So you can't go back. So what you got to do now, you got to join the low lives. The other low life troll, like Robin saying, we're begging for a baseball stadium for bill for the last 10 years that used to be drinking coffee with Jagdio every afternoon when Jagdio was out of power. But now that Jagdio in power, he has no time with you because he found a new he find a new woman, critic. He get critic now as he side purse, as he clutch. See, hold on to critic because critic has a platform that where he spews and he's cuss and he's go on and he's abuse women. So he show dancing out, show Robin sing out. So now they're paid they're paid social media trolls. And when they're not trolling me, now they have reserved because they see what they're doing is not getting to me. Now they're reserved to trolling people that are associated with me and my friends. That is what they resort to. Like they're literally scanning and victimizing people that are associated with me. That is how low and dirty and wicked the PP government was. This PP government now was and is. This is the level of people that you're dealing with. When they own people that are working in their government office, they get a minister and a permanent secretary sexually assaulting these little girls, sexual assaulting these little boys, and they can't speak out because they're afraid of being victimized. They can't speak out because they're afraid of being blacklisted and all these things. How could you have a government that is taking this level of advantage on its citizen and thinking that it's okay and that nobody should speak about it? And you feel as though you can shut people like myself and other influencers up because we're speaking out and because we are showing the world, we are showing the country, we're showing your citizens this is what they're voting for and this is what they're doing to people in Guyana.
We have got to be able to use, and I keep saying all the time, unless we start dealing with issues, we're going to continually be in the state that we're in. But you know what? King Kong Jagyo, he is good at playing the race game. So he knows when to go down to Port Morant and when to go to Klein and Letterkenny and so on. And he knows when to go into Region 3 and when to go to Bath and play this race game and talk about what Black people will do and what Black people will not do you. And that's the kind of game he plays. And that's why they are not so inclined in ensuring that their supporters are educated. If you look at what is happening in Guyana now, all the young East Indian boys and girls who are exposed to university education and technical education, their thinking is different. But Barra Jagdu and the others, they have a way of holding some of the older ones and the ones who they don't allow to get away and to educate themselves. They have them there mentally stuck, like one of my colleagues said. And so they instill the racism in them and what Black people will do and what Black people will not do.
And you see, that is why I love that, and that is why I love my platform, and I love that I have a very different cross section of people that are following me, and I love that a lot of young people, upcoming young people that are going to school, are just out of school, 18, 19, 20, and 17 and 16 and these things. I love the fact that a lot of young people follow me because I think those are the people that I'm going to be able to have an impact on, that I'm going to be able to make an impact in the upcoming election, because those are the young people that are going to be voting.
Melimel, I'm seeing here a young lady who is saying, Big Auntie Melimel, we the young citizens are paying full attention to you. Strongly continue your good work. And this is what young people want. Young people want to be able to have somebody who can speak out for them, who can
Yes, and I want to speak. And I also want to speak to those independent thinkers. I don't want to say to them, oh, vote for the PP, vote for the PP, or oh, vote for the APNU AFC, or vote for the PNC, because that's how they label you. From the time you speak out against corruption and what's wrong and what's right, and you try to like have a sense of, of balance and those things, they try to label you, put you with a political party, or throw you here or throw you there. So I'm very much happy and pleased, because I know what my inbox looks like on a daily basis, and it's all cross sections of people. And when I say all cross sections, I'm telling you, from people from Region 1 all the way to 10, people from Essequibo, all cross section, teachers, nurses, doctors, police,
Mhm.
right? And I can guarantee you, even to judges and magistrates follow my page. They might not comment, they might not say anything publicly, but they literally go on my page every single day, and this is what I personally know. So they know everybody is paying attention to my page and exactly what is it I have to say. So I could understand Jaggy and his people wanting to shut influencers up, because yeah, that's in we are called influencers for a reason, because we have that influence, and I try my best, the influence that I have, and I try my best to use. I'm not going to say I've always tried my best to use my platform for the good of the people, because there one point in time back in the past where I've been I had the platform, and I was just all about, I was a bit selfish with what I was doing with it. But then when I realized that I can actually use my platform to, that and it can benefit others, then I was like, you know what, why not do it then? This is what I could do. I have a platform, I can benefit, I can help so much people, and that is what my platform continue to do every single year. And they are keeping me in business. So the more they talk about me, the more they post me. Every day, within 2 to 3 days, I usually get 1,000 new followers. That's the honest truth.
Well, you see, the thing is, Barrett Jagview and the whole pack of them, I think their heads are empty by now, because they don't understand that
How
when
social media works.
ostracized Melly Mill and Rickford Burke and Mark Benskop and Rhonda and everybody else, they don't understand that they're making you international celebrities. They don't
And they're
understand.
giving, exactly, and they are giving me a bigger platform. And like I said, come by now and the end of the election, me one Mel will have 100 and something thousand followers, that I will now be empowering. So if you send 50,000 followers my way, I love it, because I'm sure out of the 50,000 I could able to change a couple thousand mind.
Mhm, mhm.
Because
So,
listen, like some, I was just watching an interview and somebody said the truth don't need motivation. The truth
exactly.
don't need no motivation, because the truth is the truth, and they know when they come to my page, they can get the truth. I ain't gonna butter it. I ain't gonna do nothing. So they could try to label me as an extortionist, as this, as that, all they want. The people know the truth.
Well, this is what they do. They have nothing on you, so they have to find
They
something.
have to fabricate.
They have
Yes.
they have to fabricate something, and they got to put some more salt and some more sugar in it to make it look hot and spicy, or taste hot and spicy, or sound hot and spicy. But behind that, people understand that nothing that Barry Jagdio say you can't believe him, because if Barry
Yeah,
Jagdio could
because Melly Mel, they couldn't get Melly Mel to take the offer, the $1 million offer, to the couple thousand where they were offering her to promote one Guyana every month. They couldn't get nobody. They couldn't get Melly Mel to take a $10 million bribe. They couldn't get Melly Mel to take any of the money that they would have thrown her way. They couldn't get me to do it. They go wrong, they come wrong to all the friends. They ain't coming directly, but they're sending the minions to come and make me offer that they think I cannot refuse.
well,
And it's only because I done this platform and I want to talk my personal business. Make I wouldn't say, but 10 million and 20 and 40 million offer. I don't, but when I tell y'all, I don't need it. I don't need it. You hear? I just live my best life. My best life that don't ever make it to social media.
well, Melly, we understand that you, like Rickford Burke, y'all living in basements. Yeah, we understand that, and y'all living your
Mhm.
best life,
A basement, a basement with a view of Manhattan.
of
This is the
course, and
basement I live in with. This is the
they don't
basement I living
understand.
in.
But I was going to say, Rickford, that nobody could believe anything that Barajagio says to us when Barajagio could lie that he got married and he did not marry that girl legally. So what else you could believe from this man? And if this man could go so far to lie about being married, you could believe anything else from this man? And this is the man who comes here and professes to be this big champion of the earth and this professor. Just now he can tell them, look, put my name as father of the nation. Just now he can tell them to do that. But the man is so wicked and deceptive that that man would stand at Roger Lunchan's funeral to pay tribute and to say, oh, Roger Lunchan dead and gone, with all the stories about the Phantom Squad. Could you imagine that? That's the kind of beast that we're dealing with. After Roger Lunchan would have given his entire life to the PPP, he is now saying that Roger Lunchan was responsible for the Phantom Squad and he knows the operation of the Phantom Squad. But we got to deal with these people and we have to deal with them condignly. And I'm happy that there are a few of us who can speak without having to look over our shoulders. I know they try to tell me all kinds of foolishness, but I had to address Jagdio and tell them, come on your program, on your press conference, and let Coretta McDonald be the subject where you can tell the nation what you gave to her. You can't buy me. I tell him that already. You can't buy me. I'm not up for sale. And I'm hoping that many, many other young people would be able to see beyond that $10,000 and a red t-shirt and a box of food, because they're going to call you Hungry Belly again. You know, I notice critics could say anything, all kinds of things about people, but there's no issue. They don't have a problem with critics. But anybody else, they got big issues with them, Rickford.
Well, because they believe in East Indian superiority, and anybody else who supports them, they must have free reign, right? The laws aren't, the police force doesn't police the East Indian community or PPP people, PPP supporters. No, they're there for Black people, the slaves. And, you know, you talk about Barajagdio, they're lying. He sat at a press conference 2 weeks ago and said, oh, Rickford Burke, don't believe anything he says. Well, that's because I say the truth. Barajagdio said we were scamming people at the Washington conference. No proof. He said we collected $10,000 from a Haitian man and told him come and listen to investors. And the man showed up and demanded his money back. Not true. Total lie. He made it up. He said that I extorted people. Complete lie. There's no evidence of that. And we will release the whole file. We will give the guy in the police force schisms. We will release the whole file. And, you know, Barajagdio, and I don't even think we should give him so much attention. Barajagdio is like a common criminal. He's in the same category as critics and then pickpocket boys in the street. As he's a common criminal. That's what he is. And somebody in a store asked me the other day, said to me, my cousin was killed by the death squad. Why is Barajagdio still alive? And my cousin is dead. And he's the one that organized and financed the death squad. I asked the people in Guyana. Ask the people in Guyana. And that's why he's after me, because I've been saying we need justice for these people. And Coretta, you spoke about Paul Slow. If you check every single, with the exception of Rhonda and the mayor, Ubraj Narayan, every other person they have gone after is Black since they came to power. All of the Black elected from GCOM top elected officials, Black. All of the MPs, Black. They charge George Norton, right? But they never pursued it. They made some deal with him because he's Amerindian. They're after Black people. They're after all the social media influencers are Black except Rhonda. All of the police officers that they charge with fraud and extortion are Black. They're using the police force as their enforcers for their vendetta. And they want to destroy your character by charging you with crimes that they can't prove or that you did not commit. They charged not only Paul Slow, the 8 police officers, they charge MPs, they charge attorneys, they charge Christopher Jones, they charge, I mean, we are allowing them to get away with it because there's no accountability. Now they're coming after me. This is going to be a rough one for them, Coretta. This is going to be a rough one. It's going to be so nasty. They come after me, it's going to get so rough. It's going to get so nasty. We're going to know who their families are. If you want to come after my family, Melissa's talking about how they're attacking her people. We'll attack your family back, right? This is going to be messy. Jagdeo would never believe that he stirred up this red ants, maribunta, whatever you want to call it, follow me nest. It's not going to be easy. He's going to have sleepless nights. He's going to need a cardiologist, and he might need an undertaker after that, because it will be rough. It will be rough. You don't come after me and try to destroy me. I will destroy you back. I would mobilize the entire world against you. They're after us because we're speaking out. Because we're speaking out. We're speaking out about their corruption. We're speaking out about their racism. They don't mean to change their racism. They don't mean to stop it. You know what they want to do? Bludgeon us to death. So we can't talk about racism. And then they're going to say, well, you see, nobody's talking about racism because it doesn't exist. No. Have you ever seen these people meet with the Black community? AGDA, IPADJ, Black leaders, whoever y'all are, come, sit with us, talk with us. Let us know what your concerns are. No. How dare you Black people ask for a meeting with us superior East Indians? No. We will bludgeon you into silence. Stop talking about racism. We're going to use the Racial Equality Act or whatever it is, Racial Hostility Act. We're going to use the cybercrime laws. We're going to use this. We're going to use that. We're going to silence you. They don't mean for 1 second, to meet the needs of Black people and promote equality. Every time some Black person opens their mouth, they want to use the police force to shut them down. That's why they went after Paul Slow. Because he's speaking out, right? His program is called Speaking Out. That's why they're after me. That's why they're after Mel. And I see these East Indian men attacking Black women, Black professional women in the most vicious way. They're taking a page from white supremacists. They're taking a page from white supremacists. I saw the stuff they said about Melly Mel. I saw how they attack other professional women. They don't have respect for Black people, Coretta. This is simple. This is about racism. This is about them trying to promote East Indian elitism, East Indian supremacy. And like I said, they're very fine, patriotic, decent East Indian people who do not subscribe to this. I'm speaking about the East Indians who are racist in the PPP. This is what this is about. This is about them laying a stake in the ground and say, this is we territory. We own Guyana. Black people are slaves. That's it. But you know what? We got to show them that we built Guyana. And if they think we're slaves, the people that brought us into this world rebelled from slavery. So they can't enslave us again. They can't enslave us again. And we must make sure that we fight for equality, fight for inclusive governance, fight for an inclusive democracy, fight to make sure that there's equity. Equity. Look at who controls Guyana. Every single business is East Indian. And look who they've gone after. Every single Black business person they've gone after. And why are we silent? We in the diaspora, we're not accustomed to that. We fight racism in America every day. That's why we speak out. That's why we speak out. And that's why they're after us. But we have to fight them back. And I'm telling you, the United States government is not going to sit back and allow a thin-cup dictator in Guyana, Bart Jagdeo, to send police officers in America to commit espionage. I think we're going to see some harsh penalties. And Guyana will be affected. The Venezuelans are at the border want to fight for Essequibo. And they're like, no, let me fight these Black people. Leave the Venezuelans. Let's go fight Black people in America because they're talking to Black people here and they're going to not support us. Bar Jagdeo said they're clouding people's minds. We influencers are clouding people's minds so that people don't know what judgments to make. Are you kidding me? Right? So we are the ones that are the enemies, not the Venezuelans, Black people. So they're coming after us. They're dividing this nation. And I think eventually We will end up with two nations if the PPP continues in power, because they want to drive black people out into the Atlantic Ocean, and we must not let them.
Well, it's not going to happen. And it's not only about black people. It's about any other race who doesn't support them and their foolishness. Remember in Parliament when Nigel Dharamlal said, one of my colleague MPs, she needed a dildo? Barajagio just recently called Kathy Hughes a lowlife. And they use people like Kwame and them in Parliament to talk all kinds of foolishness. And when you respond to them, they have a difficulty with you. But
exactly.
I want them to know.
I forgot to mention one thing, and I have to go. Let me say this. There has never been anybody from the PPP or any East Indian, well, I know, well, with the exception of two, the girls from Berbies, that they have ever charged. But no, they didn't even charge her. They scolded her under the Racial Hostility Act and under cybercrime. I know so many people, African Guyanese, who've made cybercrime complaints about PPP persons, Kwame McCoy, attacking people, critics, everybody. The police force doesn't investigate those crimes. Cybercrime law does not apply to Indians. We are superior. Cybercrime laws apply to black people who criticize the PPP, not for East Indians. That's it. Simona Brooms made complaints. Amanda Walter is a member of parliament. A member of parliament. And the guy in the police force refuses. You had a police officer who, the son of Karl Singh, the former chancellor, Narvan Singh, an attorney, allegedly spat in her face. Spat in her face. And the DPP, who's East Indian, dropped the charges. They went to the court reinstated the charges. The DPP is demonstrating to the court that she's bad. She dropped it again. They don't mean that a black woman who was spat on must get her day in court. You think about that. You think about what has happened to this woman's human dignity. That an East Indian man can spit in her face.
Yes.
And she can't get her day in court. That's the guy that they want. They want to subjugate us. They want to put us under slavery. It must not happen. That should be my sister. That should be my daughter. Man, I tell you. Let me not say it. Spat in a black woman's face, and the criminal justice system is ensuring that they protect the East Indian perpetrator, and we must not speak? Are you kidding me?
You know, and this is the same thing. If you look, Carol Smith Joseph, 17 charges, 2 less than what Irfan Ali had. Valda Lawrence, Claremont Mingo, Keith Lowenfield, So Hetzberger, so many others.
Calvin Heath London.
Calvin, and they just have them dragging them through the motion. We had Sherrod Duncan, Christopher Jones, Annette Ferguson, and all of these matters are just being dragged one step, half a step, quarter step, all the time. Annette Ferguson won judgment against Barajagio, and they're just dragging their foot on it. Up and down, he's appealing, he's doing this, he's all kinds of craziness. As if, you know, somebody like Annette Ferguson doesn't know how to spend $20 million, and he can't pay $20 million. But if it were the other way around, like I saw, the Attorney General was making a statement that they were going to go after the MPs who were sanctioned by Parliament. They're going to go after their properties and so on if they can't pay these monies. These people are just a set of oppressors, and we got to upturn these oppressors by whatever means necessary. And that is why we've got to continue on programs like these to educate wide and far, and more so our young people, so they understand that the PPP has no good intentions for them. The PPP don't want you. Could you imagine moving from 8% in 2022 to 6.5 in 2023? Could you imagine that? When cost of living would have gone way past that. When they are making all these monies on oil, could you imagine an ordinary public servant signing off on $211 million US, and all he could have gotten was 15 days no pay, 15 days monies deducted from his salary? And
do you believe that? Do you believe that, Coretta?
Well,
that
you know,
a public servant signed off on that?
Well, we know.
I don't believe it.
We
I don't
know
believe
this
that.
story, you know, but he had to go in front there and 15 days. I mean, and these are the people who wanted to go after persons like Brian Tewari, and they want to go after Sevons, and they want to go after this person and that person. But you got all of these people there who are their cronies doing all kinds of things. We got a school that cannot be completed yet, and you hear that the contractors there have been blacklisted. All you're hearing about weather and this and that, like the Minister of Public Works said, oh, the spiritual forces by the cemetery there obstructing the workers, they can't complete the work. I mean, these people ain't got no shame about themselves, none whatsoever. No shame. Could you imagine a bishop talking about spiritual influences wherever he's telling them? And you're a bishop? You should have been out there with your prayer warriors, getting rid of all them spirits who are affecting the workers. But he himself fighting the spirits out there, so he can't go. Maybe he's afraid that the spirits will tell him his story. But these are the kinds of people that we have to deal with. 3 years in office, so much monies we've gotten from the oil industry, but yet workers in this country can't live comfortable. Yet workers got to be bailing out of this country. We just saw the Ministry of Health is in need of 600 nurses, 170 something of them gone. The ministry is in need of nurses. The Ministry of Health is in need of nurses. They're gonna tell you just now how many teachers gone and how many schools want teachers. You notice we had
And they'll bring all of them from India. They'll bring people from India to replace them. Let's watch.
India. You notice we had just the other day a whole barrage of teachers who graduated, some no course grade, some in do no assignment, some absent from the classes, but all of them graduated. This is what we want. This is what the PPP wanted this society. And I see they don't throw out, oh, free education to the University of Guyana come 2025. Why you can't give me it now? Why you gotta wait until 2025?
But Coretta, I noticed they said introduction and implementation of free education. And I don't know why the opposition is silent. They took it away. They took away free education from our young people, and they must pay a penalty. So they're not introducing free education. They're reintroducing it because they took it away. That's it. And we must keep reminding our young people that them people, them half-educated clowns in the PPP, who not accustomed to education, take away the education from the young people of Guyana. We must remind them because they don't value education. I see Priya Manchana was talking about, oh, education. She's a flat-foot hustler. But
well, yeah, that's preposition girl. Don't worry too much. That's preposition girl. Because if she doesn't know her parts of speech, you can't deal with anything else. And you notice Irfan is very silent because Irfan went to the University of Iflut, so he's very silent. He ain't talking. Jagdio is the one who talking because he modeling with a doctorate that has been bestowed on him. He didn't work for that. And he modeling all around the place about Dr. Jagdio, Dr. Barrett Jagdio.
And the public service has been instructed to call him and refer to him as Dr. Jagdio. It's so dishonest.
Fake, a whole lot of fake people. But you remember, and we must I have to remind our people that under the coalition, the law school was reopened at the university. You remember? And when they came back into office, they closed it. So ordinary people can't send their children to do law because they're going to complete one part here, and you can't go to Trinidad or wherever else to complete the other part. Ordinary people.
And who has the money to do it? East Indian supporters of the PPP. That's it. Listen, don't mind how you try to go around it. At the end of the day, what they have successfully done is build a supremacist society all surrounding them and their supporters. That's who they give contracts to. That's who they give jobs to. That's who they have everything. Everything surrounds East Indian supporters of the PPP. That's it. We have to face the reality. Guyana has an ethnocracy, a racist ethnocracy. Correct, I have to run because I go on another program.
Well, Rickford, we want to thank you for being here. Social media influencer, we want to thank you for being here. We are going to bestow you with a title of international celebrity, US-based Guyanese international celebrity. That's our title for you. Thank you for being here. And I know that
Good night, Mel.
We can't stop you. And we're here to support you. Thanks again. But yes, and so that was Rickford there and Melly Mel. I think we're having some problems with Melly Mel, but I think she's going to come back on. But I want to say to you folks, we have got to be able to shut the PPP up. We must be able to speak out against these kinds of foolishness. Imagine a minister, a daring allegation was made against him, and then they got that young lady to say, oh, it wasn't her, it wasn't true. When the very young lady went to the house there and she said, oh, they rearranged the furnishing, they paint over the place. If it was not true, why did she have to say that? But then you heard, oh, there's nothing else against Dharam Lal, the alleged rapist. Dharam Lal is a pedophile. Dharam, the thing is, we have to call these people out for who they are. And some of these people, persons like Dharam Lal and so on, when you see they behave like that, you have to do background work. And if you do background checks, you'll understand it's something that is embedded in him. Something that is embedded in him. You ask the people from West Coast Berbice, they will tell you, they're wicked and they're cross. Wicked and cross. Why do you think they want to silence Carol Smith Joseph? Because she knows the stories inside out. All the stories from them who come from the place up at West Coast Berbice, she knows the stories inside out. But they're not going to silence the people in Guyana. Neither would they be able to silence the social media influencers outside of Guyana, because we're not going to stop talking. Now, when they finish with Carol Smith Joseph, they're gone to Shadata now. But let's remind them, Carol Smith, you and your daughter and everybody else must remind them that we understand what a cooperative republic is. So we don't get anybody throwing out any shades there. Well, they control the shades, but we don't have anybody going to the police station and so on to talk about who got who and who is a special friend of who and so on. We don't have anybody going to the station to make any report that they were raped and sodomized. We don't have that happening. So, these people are so sickening. They are so sickening. Barajagio got a lot to account to this nation for. He must account for all of those young men who were killed during his presidency. He must account for the fiber optic cables, the monies from there. He must account for those things. Barajaglia must account for the monies that he spent at that Skeldon sugar factory that can't work up to a day like today. Barajaglia must account for those things. Don't come on social media on your press conference to talk foolishness. Tell us what you did with those monies. Tell us what happened to all them. You tell us how you acquired the monies you got and all those properties that is alleged that you have. Tell us about that. You became Minister of Finance, and then you became president, and you acquired a whole lot of wealth that no other president could have acquired. Maybe you got too much sense. But the thing is, we will have to continue to speak out about these issues. All these ministers who got their sons, and their sons got contracts and all kind of names, the contracts going in, we will talk to you. We will expose them. We will expose every single one of them. Dharam Lal had the issue with his son who got someplace. It is a legend, Giflan, and they've been doing T-shirts for the ministry when he was there, And then we hear about the Minister of Agriculture, whose sons getting a whole lot of contract and families getting, all these allegations are coming out. And we want you to come out and say this is not so. You check the contracts that are awarded. You check those contracts. One person getting 6 contracts. Some other family get 5 contracts. So when you get those, there is no more for anybody else. And then when you go to the justice system, you can't get justice. But we will have to speak out. We will continue to speak out. So all the social media influencers that Barra Jagdio trying to silence, Jagdio, you don't know what you do to yourself, boy. You just wake up ants nest. You just wake up ants nest. And the clown Dharam Lal that you got who always writing about dear citizens, Dharam Lal, it's time you take that honorable off from in the front of your name, because you're not honorable. Nothing about you is honorable. So take honorable off from in front of your name. You are a disgrace. You are a disgrace. You get kicked out of the work. Not you left the work, you get kicked out the work. So take it off the front of your name, and you know to write about, oh, this person, that, and the other person, that, and you talking about Melly Mel, and you're talking about this person and that. Everybody you're talking about, talk about yourself. You got a big history book behind you. Talk about that. Talk about all them fraud business that you were involved in. That's what you need to talk about. Talk about all the allegations that these little girls have made against you. Talk about that Facebook post that was there where you were telling the girl you're coming to the US and what you want to do and all. Talk about those things. And you know what we hear? Oh, his phone was stolen. His Facebook page was intercepted and hacked and all kinds of foolishness. Every time something come up, something happened. The phone lost, somebody hacked the system. Y'all are a disgrace. Y'all disgraceful. Jagdio, I want you to come on your platform tomorrow to tell us why Ralph Gonzalez got a plaque there with the Venezuela map and that part of Essequibo on it. And so this is what we want Barry Jagdio to tell us about, why he allowed Ali to go there to sign a peace deal with, and Ralph receiving this. So all of you, every single one of you are a pack of I don't know what to say. Huh? Y'all building house there and you're building home there and you're building, and when you check the houses, they according to you, the houses cost 10 million, 20 million, how much million? And when the people go in the homes to live, 2 days after, cracks on the wall. A month after, the house shaking. You're building some things looking like dark pens to put people in. We already hear it is at all. Huh? We already hear it is at all. But let me tell you, Barra Jagdio, long time done, according to old people, short time left. Long time done. Your days are numbered. And just the same way you were telling your supporters to chase the coalition ministers and so on when they come to their homes, chase them and walk behind them, well, you can run. You can run. And I must tell people, viewers, y'all must understand, when you see these demons and so on come around you in the form of Barra Jagdio and so on, don't let them lift up your little children. Don't let them hold your little boys and girls and lift them up. Pull your little children away from them because they can pass on some of the demons to them because they can't control those demons that they have. Stop allowing them to hug your little girls and your little boys. And you notice what they just do? They go into predominantly Afro-Guyanese areas and they pretend to be so nice. Oh, they're holding them little children's hand. Oh, they're lifting up the little boys and the little girls. Keep your children safe. Cover them with the blood of Jesus. Don't God Barra Jagdio and them holding your little children. Praise another one who loves to hold up them little children. Don't let them hold your little children. You ask Priya what she's doing with quite a lot of the Afro-Guyanese officers within the Ministry of Education. Ask her what she's doing with some of the Indo-Guyanese officers in the Ministry of Education who not going ahead with what she wants. You know how many of those officers should she always check in to see what they're doing on their Facebook page, if they like anything for Coretta McDonald, if they make a comment there, and she's cussing them out. That's the people who talk about democracy. You remember at one time, it is alleged that Charles Ramson told his staff that they should not be on Facebook, and they're scrolling all those people's Facebook pages to see what they're viewing, what they're commenting on, what they ain't this, what they ain't done, that kind of thing. And so you have to remember, under the coalition government, 20 innocent Indigenous lives were lost. 20 innocent Indigenous lives were lost. All due to incompetence. I have to remind you that one of our citizens on the west coast of Berbice, the Aziz, they burnt their butcher shop down. And these people, people talking about they care about who? They don't care about anybody. They burnt that butcher shop down. You know why? Because the Azizes don't support them. The Azizes are not PPP supporters. So they burnt their butcher shop down. You think these people easy? They're not easy. They're not easy. And all they want to do is to instill fear. Instill fear. by coming out there to throw this out there and to throw that out there and to throw that the other out there. Just this morning, I was listening to a newscast. I was listening to an interview, as a matter of fact, and it was Pastor Gary Reed, one of our own Guyanese brother, who is now a renowned international author. And we here can't even big him up. We can't even big him up here. They're not even recognizing what he is doing. And internationally, he's being recognized. But we here can't recognize him. You know why? Because he's Afro-Guyanese. And if we were an Indo-Guyanese who don't pay them any mind, they would not have recognized him either. The Minister of Culture, Youth and Sport should go and sleep. He should go and sleep. But here I can tell y'all, they're going to come around. We can chase them out. We can chase them when they come around to your homes. Because you must tell them, you know, this year they will come. They can come with 2 and 3 increases, you know. But you can tell them for me. Tell them when they come. If you couldn't give me it then, I ain't want it now. And when they bring it to you, take it. But let them know that you are not going to be brainwashed and you are not going to vote for them. Well, you keep that to you, but you take the monies that they're giving you, because the monies that they're giving you belong to us. It is taxpayers' monies. Taxpayers' monies. Taxpayers' money spending to do all the things that they're doing. But let me remind you of this one here. Operator, let's remind our people of what transpired just about 1 year ago.
Why you gotta break it up? You don't have to break it up. You just break up the house, man. Oh my God! Watch this thing is so vindictive, boy. Watch this man going to this people's house. Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh, that lady will run mad if she sees these people.
This is what happened in Mucka just about 1 year ago. Friday will be the anniversary, the first anniversary, where a number 22 families were left homeless. And you notice what is happening there? This was not ordinary demolishing of their homes. This was destroying their economic livelihood. You notice the young lady there that had this wholesale place. You see what that machine is doing there? Breaking every single case of beverage that she had there, whether they were plastic bottles or whether they were glass bottles. They were breaking them down. We don't need a government like this. We don't want a government like this. And I will remind you of those 1,400 young men whose lives were lost. Some, their bodies were recovered. Others, their bodies have not yet been recovered. I must remind you about Boston, who was killed in his sleep in Essequibo. Bacchus, who was shot and killed by the police. The Henry boys, the 2 cousins. We will not forget. We will not forgive. We will remember these things. So when we go to elections, whenever that day is announced, you know exactly where you have to put your eggs, because of this wicked and corrupt government, we must get rid of them. And they must face the penalty. They must face the law for all of the distress that they would have brought on against the people of this country. We don't need leaders who can do these kinds of things. You know how many little children couldn't go to school? You know how many little children are scared to walk there again? Because they saw exactly what happened there on the 5th of January, 2023. Operator, if you could put up the one that we have with Malcolm, I think it's Martin Luther King, I think it is. And we'll go off with that one. Oh, I forgot to remind you that we are still awaiting the appointment of these 2 very distinguished ladies. We're still awaiting their appointment. Still awaiting their appointment. But you look at them and you know why they're not being appointed. And, you know, people like Priya Manichan and Sonia Parag and Charles Ramsden and all these attorneys, Dr. Din and the Attorney General, all these attorneys, none of them can say a word to ensure that these two distinguished ladies are appointed. We await their appointment. Priya, I wait to hear what you will say about them. We need leaders not in love with money, but leaders who are in love with justice, not in love with publicity, but in love with humanity. That's what we need in this country. I know many of you are asking for David Granger. I know many of you are asking for the return of the coalition, but that time will soon come. That time will soon come. So, viewers, I want to thank you so much for being with us here on this program this evening. We'll have much more for you next week when we come with another episode of Advancing the Cause. I know Miss Melissa Atwell was there with us and she's not there, but we want to thank her for being here with us. And we're going to have many more of Miss Atwell. We're going to have many more of Rickford Burke. We're going to have some Paul Slows, and we're going to have some Rondas, and we're going to have some Mark Ben Scott too, because we have got to launch. Our campaign has been launched, and we will not leave any stone unturned because we're crushing the PPP, because they are not about humanity. They're about themselves. With that, I want to ask that you be careful on the roadways as you traverse. I want to ask that you show love to every Guyanese citizen, and that we use self-help to ensure that we build our own communities and that we keep them safe. May God continue to bless you all as we go forth into the night. Stay safe, and I love you all. Bye-bye. Have a good night.